What we're going to try to avoid in the dancer pose is overemphasizing the bend in the low back. The bending in the low back will happen inevitably, and there's nothing wrong with it, but we want to make sure that we're also opening up the body in other areas that can be neglected when we overemphasize the most flexible area of most of our bodies. So first off, we're going to have Hannah bend one of her knees, and then we're going to stretch her hip flexor by keeping the front of the pelvis just as it is, not dropping it forward like we would as we're back bending, but keeping it lifted as she moves her thigh to the back body. Yeah, so that's this muscle here stretching and the glutes engaging. And then a little bit more hamstring strength as she bends the knee more, and she can reach her hand back. Good. Okay. From this position, so go ahead and move the leg more toward the back body. Good. The hips will naturally tilt forward, but we're thinking of them lifting, focusing on that hip flexor, hamstring, and then she's already begun to start to coil her upper back. So there's that lifting as the tops of the shoulders lean back. She'll take her other arm forward and then forward fold here halfway. Good. In this position, what Hannah's chosen to do, which is nice for those of us who do a lot of arm balancing, is she has her palm turned out. Then go ahead, kick the foot away more. Having the palm turned out and kicking the foot away more gives a better stretch at the front of the shoulder. Go ahead, drop a little bit lower, lift the leg a little higher. And then she's doing her best to keep the hips level. And then go ahead, open the hip more and kick the leg out. This is what you'll commonly see, and aesthetically it looks like a deeper pose. You can take a rest. But the alignment isn't as precise. There's nothing wrong with it, but it starts to look more like Chapasana, Ardha Chandrasana than the dancer pose with the hip open. Options. All right, moving toward the king dancer pose, we use the strap. So Hannah will take the strap in her hands and kind of swing it over her right shoulder after. Yeah, you can loop it over your leg first. She's got her own way. All right. You can loop the leg first and then grab hold, or you can swing it over the shoulder and loop the leg. And from here, yeah. So go ahead and do that action again where you grab hold of the strap overhead. So start with your hand down. So from this position, her palm is turned out, and then watch carefully. She takes the elbow forward and then reaches the arm up and overhead. Good. From here, she'll bring the other hand to meet it, and then she can start to walk her hands down the strap. She has her strap around the ankle. Another option is to have it more around the foot, and then she'll go ahead, walk the arms. Oop, I got you, girl. She's been holding this for a while, obviously. Walking the hands back. And then from this position, what we're working on doing is keeping the elbows hugging toward the midline and the lateral aspect of the shoulder lifted. You can go ahead and relax for a moment. All right, the work in the low back and the leg is similar for that variation. Take your arms overhead and just make this shape. All right, there are sometimes the direction of pinching the shoulder blades together and drawing them down. This is not exactly the most stable position for the arms to be in when they're overhead for the shoulder joint, but it can help create a deeper bending sensation when we pull those shoulder blades together. A more conservative approach is having the outer shoulder lifting, shoulder blades more protracted as we take the arms back. But again, it's up to your student. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a little tug here and then lift the center of the chest up and lean back, up and back, up and back. Yes. So we have that lifting and lengthening and release. For students that have more sensitivity in the low back, thinking of this posture more as a hip flexor stretch, a shoulder stretch, hamstring and glute strengthener, upper back stretch, helps alleviate some of the pressure in the low back, so it won't look necessarily as deep, but we're going to review that again. So once again, she's got the strap around her foot. She can grab holds, swing the arm up and overhead. The hands come to meet, and she walks her hands down the strap, down the strap, down the strap. Now Hannah has a very flexible low back, and this doesn't bother her, but if it were to bother her, we would pull the low belly in more and move the back bend up the spine. You can soften the strap just a little bit and then forward fold a bit. Yeah, lean forward. There we go. You see that opening up in the low back? That's what we're going after. And then lean the chest up and back. Yeah. Ta-da.